one's going to do it for you. There's no one coming to save your ass. I don't know if I want to swear. I just kind of went for it.
It's all right.
But it's really, you got to be the hero of your own story. You make a choice every single day to either give up or move forward. And there is no in between.
Right.
Things might be stacked against you. Only stacked against you in one direction. You can pivot at any point. You just got to look at it from a new light.
Yep. I want to welcome everyone to another episode of What Drives You. This week, I am blessed with the presence of a real estate agent all the way from the city of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He's been an agent there for 10 years now?
13 for me.
13 years in Myrtle Beach. And he has recently joined Compass as the founding team in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He is a part of a lovely husband and wife team. He's also a real estate coach, or just a life coach.
Yeah, dude, life, business, executive, real estate.
Executive
We
coach.
got it all covered.
All covered. But he's been a great person to connect with. So now that he's here in Charlotte, I wanted to make sure I got him on the show. So I want to welcome everyone, Liam Pierce.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you putting me on the show. That's fantastic. I always like to come up, meet, and collaborate, because that's one thing Compass is really about, is networking, collaboration without ego. And that just alone, we've been, 7 months now, roughly?
Yeah, just almost 7 months.
And we're about to have the best real estate production year we've ever had in all of our years of real estate.
No, that's awesome.
Yep, all networking.
That really speaks to just how, getting to know people can really improve your business.
Absolutely. Because you don't know what they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And when you start talking to people and collaborating, you're like, oh, damn, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
What if I can take that and bring it to my marketplace or to my business and just really applying? It's just fantastic. And I think we should all network a lot more and interact with people that are much different from us. That's how we learn.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do with this, and just kind of, I hosted the event last week in Atlanta to do the exact same kind of thing, getting people together to network and build those kind of relationships.
Yep.
That you can kind of get, through Zoom, but it's way different when you're actually face to face with someone.
Get the synergy.
Exactly.
Because when you're around, you get to pick up, you get to lay things down, you get to be, in my opinion, the true version of yourself.
Yeah. And it's like body language is also something that we all speak, and that you can't always necessarily see when you're not next to someone. Like, there's body language and nonverbal cues that we all kind of give off to help build trust and those kind of things. So
right, and plus, I mean, when you're in with people, you get to feel the vibes.
Yeah.
Right, and when that synergy really takes off, that's, in my opinion, that's when you can really learn, adapt, and you get to hear their stories, because just Zoom is that filter. It's a wall, right? And there's a disconnect, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, Liam, tell us a little bit about yourself and your story.
Okay. So I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I grew up, insanely dirt poor. I was homeless at one point. Kind of went through the muck of everything for a majority of my life, and I kept trying to pull myself out and move forward every opportunity that I got. And it took years, even, in and out of the military, college, same thing. I kept getting pulled back, and I kept pushing forward. And I mean, one of the towns I grew up, we used to have drive-bys. That was typical. You're like, oh, damn, someone's getting shot up on the block. Get down, relax.
Yeah.
And that was never okay. I always wanted more. I always wanted to kind of go more. And I never gave up. And it was really coming down to controlling what you can control. And I would literally look and say, what can I do about this? And if I said nothing, I forgot about it and moved on to something else. So my story has always been about moving forward. How can I get to the next place? Who can I put around me? And I learned very early on, I want to sit at tables where my realities are, my dreams are their realities.
Mm.
And I do that every single time I network with people. I always want to network the next level.
Okay.
But that's kind of like a crutch version of my story.
No, that's a very powerful story because to come from such humble beginnings to see how successful you are now, it's always makes for a great movie. I don't know. I was reading Robert Refkin's book, No One Succeeds Alone, and one of the chapters that he was talking about, he was like he kind of um, thought about his life like it was a movie.
Yep.
So like when he was having like that like a depressed state or like something wasn't going right, he was just thinking like this is the montage where
Yes.
where the person has to like work hard to persevere, and they had the montage music in the background, and then 6 months later they're they're super far ahead. So that's why I say like kind of not since I've read that, I kind of think about that often. So things will always sound like they would make for a good movie.
Yeah.
And because the best stories in life are the real ones.
Right. And just like Robert was even saying, it's really being the hero of your own story.
Yeah.
Right? It's up to you. No one's going to do it for you. There's no one coming to save your ass.
No.
I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. I just kind of went for it.
It's all right.
But it's really, you got to be the hero of your own story. You make a choice every single day to either give up or move forward. And there is no in between.
Right.
Things might be stacked against you, but they're only stacked against you in one direction. You can pivot at any point. You just got to look at it from a new light.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. So I like to ask this question because it kind of also helps me learn like how you define success. But like, what has made you successful?
Honestly, in the beginning, I was in a very survival mode. I didn't know thriving mode even existed, right? It was how do I get my next meal? As a kid and as a teenager, even young adult, is how do I pay my bills? And I just kept moving forward with that in that survival mode. And it wasn't until I got some advice from an older gentleman that changed my life. And he says, you can't go it alone. You need to surround yourself with the right people. Proximity is power, right? And for me, success is being around the right people. It's not money. It's not nice house, cars. I have all of that.
Right.
That was never it for me. It's being around the right people because at the end of the day, that's all you have. It's people.
Okay. No, that's pretty powerful. I love being around, trying to be around, more positive people. I was just in Atlanta this past weekend. I met some great agents, but I met some great, hung around some of my friends and just really had a time to kind of unwind and relax and remember the good old days, but then still like acknowledge where they are now and all the stuff that they're doing. I had a buddy of mine. He wasn't feeling his most confident like he normally would. When I ran into him, so he manages a restaurant in Atlanta.
Okay.
Very nice restaurant. It's at the top of a hotel. Beautiful.
Oh, that's legit.
So he's got a lot of connections because and it's very hard to get reservations for this restaurant because of how good the food is and everything like that. He was like, yeah, I'm not really feeling that great. Da, da, da. I was like, when I saw you out, I randomly ran into him when I was out with some of my agents. I was like, you were out with the manager of one of the best hotels in Buckhead. How are you? Why are you down on yourself? Like you just gotta acknowledge the where you're at and like every time I come to Atlanta, you're doing something dope. You're doing something amazing. We were in some like some celebrities like section for because he knows all the liquor reps and the liquor company was doing something for them and so I'm like, dude, every time I come, you look like you're having a great time. So but I like to surround myself with those good people because I've seen his growth and where he's come from, and he's also seen my growth and where I've come from.
That's awesome.
And we've both gotten to a point where we're like, we don't feel like where we're all the way where we can be, but I've tried to make it a point with all my friends to just stop and smell the roses and see where you are now and acknowledge where you are now because that's very important. Because like we're all comparing of what we should or shouldn't do and stuff like that. But like, just sometimes got to sit there and just acknowledge where we're at now, and then we're in a good spot. So
yeah,
Yeah.
No, I love that. And a lot of times when when there's a version of success, right, whatever that may be, because not only are you defining it, other people are trying to define it for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like your friend, maybe maybe there was some things sitting in, and he felt he didn't deserve it, right? So then you
Yeah.
beat yourself up. You fall into imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when no matter what you have, what you don't, it doesn't matter because you're like, I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you're pausing, like I call that putting your oxygen mask on. If you put your oxygen mask on, take a chance to breathe,
Mm.
you can think more clear.
Okay. Oh yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Of like, you know, you got to put your mask on first if you want to save somebody else.
Exactly.
And so sometimes, and to save yourself, you got to put your mask on too. So,
Yep.
that's amazing. So Liam, what is it that kind of drives you and makes you get up out of bed every morning?
And my kids, hands down. Coming from poverty and not knowing what tomorrow's going to look or like my house burned down when I was a kid. We were in it. Um,
Mm.
for getting the house robbed. And it's really showing them. And don't get me wrong, in the beginning, we did it wrong. We gave them everything that we didn't have because my wife
Yeah.
comes from a similar area.
Mm-hmm.
We did the wrong thing. But what we ended up doing is realizing that mistake and we started putting more value in it, right?
Mm.
Like, hey guys, you want a new iPad? Show me how you're going to earn the iPad. Like, let's
Okay.
talk about real things. And so for me, it's my kids. It's to everything that I do when I go around and speak around the nation, or I open my coaching business, or all the other business I'm working on right now. It's for them. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I I don't need any of this stuff. Like, I love the luxuries, but I
Mm.
don't need it,
Mm.
and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But I want to show them what's capable in this life because I come from an area of generational poor, like, really poor wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to show them is that you can break the mold at any given moment just by choice.
Mm. Okay. No, that's deep. Like my kids are my why as well, because I wanted to give them more than what I had.
Right.
I think that's every parent though.
Right. Right.
Like I can, my my circumstances wasn't as I don't know. I was we were well off in the poor neighborhood
Okay.
and poor
I feel
in the
you.
wealthy neighborhood, and so we always lived kind of just in between. Like so,
Yep.
there was moments where like in hindsight I'm like, oh, we were broke, but I didn't really think about it at the time. It was just like,
Right.
oh, we didn't have cable, so let me just draw more
Right.
or
Right.
play video
Right.
games. Like it wasn't even a thought to it. But now as in the hunt, I was like, okay, we just weren't doing too well. Um, but I want to give my kids a little bit more of a better experience. It's part of the reason why I moved to Charlotte,
Right.
and I plan on like staying in Charlotte for a long period of time because I moved around a lot as a kid.
Okay. Okay.
Before living in California, at the age of 25, the longest I'd ever lived in any space was 4 years, like consistently.
Yep. Nope. I understand
And
that.
that's from like age 2 until, and when I say a single space, I mean the same city.
Okay. Okay.
I moved to different cities, different states,
Yep.
every 4 years of at least every 4 years of my life. And so I don't want to give that experience to my kids. I want them to be able to grow up with friends and have friends from elementary school that
Right.
they're still cool
To
with,
get that bond.
to get that bond.
Yep.
Now it does, me moving around a lot does come with some perks because I'm able to talk to relate to almost anybody because I've lived and been to a lot of these places that people have been. But it also, there's some drawbacks of attachment issues and the worry about like abandonment and stuff. Well, not really abandonment, but it's like friendships. I've seen friendships come and go, and I don't have as many of those
Right.
long-lasting relationships that I that I see that people who have had friends, for years have.
Right.
And so that's what I want to make sure that I can provide to my kids, at least the opportunity.
Yeah.
We're still going to travel. We're still going to go places. I want to take them, all around the world, but I still want them to have a home base, a home, like um, to be able to go back and just look at old family photos and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like I think my mom has my photos, but we moved around so much that
Yeah, I don't know where
I don't know where.
I
Yeah.
feel you. So you want like that root, that foundation.
Right. I want
Yep.
a foundation,
Love that.
and I feel like Charlotte has that capability for me. It is a major metropolitan city. It doesn't feel like it quite like some other cities do,
Right.
which is good if you're raising a family. If you're 20 something urbanite who likes to go out and party and stuff like that, Charlotte has that, but it may not be as much as you would think. But if you're someone who wants to go and have those experiences, but then like can also chill and do some more family time things, or go hiking or things like that. That's why I really love Charlotte for it, and because it's how
Nice.
quickly it's growing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of you can mold it to be whatever you want it to be.
I love that.
And so that's that's why I moved here. That's why I'm enjoying living here. I've just been over a year now, and there's been a lot of life things that have happened and changing, but I still see myself staying in the city for at least some time. We'll see how things go. If I get a big job offer and they want to move me to like DC or something like that, then I might
Right.
have to consider it. But it's not that far away.
No, it's not. It's a hop, skip, and a jump.
But I'm like being back on the East Coast and being here is what I really intend on doing.
Okay.
Now, Liam, this show is called "What Drives You,"
Okay.
and being that I am a person that likes cars, I like to ask this question to people.
Okay.
So, if money was no object, you didn't have to worry about your kids or anything like that, or them coming in your vehicle with you. What would be your dream vehicle?
Any Bentley, hands down.
Mm,
Any. Like, I like calm, quiet, and style.
okay.
Right. So I've owned Mercedes, Land Rovers. I've owned expensive cars, but just something about a Bentley.
Mm,
Like I don't drink, but when you can just like have your wine glasses and just get cooled and chilled in the back, that's pretty legit.
yeah.
I would just put water in it, but it would work.
Yeah.
It would work. It'd be chilled water.
All right. The glass won't move, and so it'll still be chill. No, that's I was always I don't know, like when I was a kid, like Bentleys just seemed like so like astronomical to me.
Right, right, right.
Like if I saw one, it was like, oh my god, it's like you saw a spaceship. Like it's just it was and so like before I moved to California, like my dream car was like a 7 Series BMW.
Okay, all right.
Because I was like, okay, it's expensive, but I feel like
It's in range.
it's in range. I didn't I just thought like a Bentley was like $1 million, and now I know better. But at the time, I was like, oh, it's never gonna happen.
Right, right, right.
And then I moved to California, and I got introduced to the car scene in California. There used to be a thing called Cars and Coffee.
Okay.
And that's when people would bring out their cars. And when I tell you, the Bentley was the least nicest car that was there. Like, oh, you got a Bentley? Oh, okay, that's cool. That's that's cute, or whatever. Like Bentleys were the wives' cars. Like you see them drive around in the Bentley Continental, or the Bentley GT with the drop top.
Right, right.
But that was just the cute car.
Yeah.
It was McLaren. It was Ferrari, Lamborghini. It was the Porsche 918. Koenigsegg and Pagani.
Yep.
And I was just like, wow. And then because of the fact that I was like able to actually see these cars, I'm like, okay, I can dream a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I saw maybe one or two Bentleys before that. Moved to California, you can throw a rock and hit like a Tesla Model S,
Right.
or just like seeing these high end cars, and it was just like, wow, like that just changed my whole perspective. Actually being around it and seeing it was something that was inspiring. So now, like my dream cars cost way a lot more than that. But
what you got?
So one of my, I have a lot because I like to drive. One of my dream cars, one of my favorite cars that I like to take pictures of and stuff, is the Pagani Huayra.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. It's just like the race car style, but like it's still street legal, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car.
That and the Koenigsegg 1-to-1.
Okay. All right. Yep.
I just want to drive it just to have my face ripped off from the G forces, because I know like I want to try it, because I mean that's a car that has 1 pound of torque for every pound of horsepower, or every horsepower. That's why it's called the 1-to-1. And it's like 1,000 horsepower and 1,000 torque.
Wow.
So
So it turns out.
It flies. Um, and it's still technically street legal. I don't, I don't,
Technically.
I don't know which street you would want to put that on, but
Right.
it's just a beautiful car. Um, and then I don't know, like there's like I've gotten driven a couple. I've driven a Lamborghini.
Mhm.
Done some of the other like Corvettes. My buddy used to have a Maserati that we used to like to whip around.
Yeah, I love
Um,
Maz.
and I'm actually not a fan of the Maserati.
Really?
It's
Did you
much,
see the
but
redesign?
it's more so because of the interior than it is the car. Like the car is beautiful.
The inside's trash.
It's like for a luxury car. Like I
Yeah.
want luxury sound. I want luxury seat. Like
They're releasing the redesign now. So
okay.
it's all touchscreen and upgraded. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I'm still a fan of the touchscreen stuff. I like I like a little dash or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like complete touchscreen things, I don't know. To me, it just seems like it's gonna be more of a headache than it is a luxury.
But you also have that sports model mindset where it's simple.
Right.
Right.
I like simple. I don't like.
Yep.
I don't need to have a whole lot, but I don't want to have nothing. And then like he had the quadruport, so it was a 4-door, and like I said, like I just for that price, you would think you would have like a very nice sound system or something,
Right.
so that you can. But he had the version that had the Ferrari motor in it, so they took out most of the sound, so you can listen to the engine. I'm like, okay, I guess.
See, I've never been like a sports model car guy.
Mm.
Like they look great. I've been inside of several high end cars, but for me, it's always been the luxury, the chill mode. You know, like if I'm driving, I don't want you to hear me. I want very low key.
Okay.
But it looks like fantastic. You know, so that's why like Bentley for me, the reason I never bought a Bentley is if a rock ever kicked up from a car to hit my car, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
So we did a car rally one time through California. So we went from Menlo Park, California, took Highway 1 down to San Luis Obispo, which is like middle central California.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful drive along Highway 1. And then we went.
I know Highway 1.
And then we came back like kind of through the middle of California.
Okay.
Like the valley and stuff. And so on the rally, it was like 15, 20 cars or whatever, all different types. All my buddies had GTIs, which is the reason why I ended up buying one. But there was a guy on there that had a Lamborghini, like Murcielago.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think like he would be up front. He was driving his car so slow.
Like, I see that a lot.
Speed limit slow.
Yep.
And I'm just like, dude, like you have the car for it. But it's because that reason. He didn't want a rock or anything to come up, chip the paint. And then next thing you know, his paint is whatever. And I'm like, dude, you should have wrapped it then or something. Like,
yeah.
I'm not worried, but I don't know. I to say like if you're gonna have those cars, to me it's like you gotta be able to push it and be comfortable with the consequences of you pushing it.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
that's just me.
I'm not, like I said, the whole race car thing, like that sports car, it's great. Mm-hmm. And the closest I've ever gotten, I traded the Mercedes in. I have a Tesla Model Y Performance.
Okay.
I mean, that thing's fast as hell, and it's great. But I'm like, I don't need a little burst, and I'm good. I don't need much more.
So, the Teslas are fast.
Mm-hmm.
They do move really quickly. I do not like them because it feels like I'm driving a really fast golf cart.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
There's no like it's all torque, so it's just you take off and
you just take off.
You're gone. But then like you don't even feel like you're going fast because it's just it's gone. Like I test drove one.
Yeah.
And I hit the highway, and because they were like, oh, just go and come back in like 20 minutes, so I came back in like 45. But I hit the highway, and you just go.
Yeah.
And like I look down, and I'm like doing like 90 something, and I'm not even realizing it. And another reason why I don't like the Tesla is because I feel like it should have a heads-up display.
I agree. I definitely agree on that.
I didn't like having to look here to see what my speed was.
Right. It definitely needs a heads up.
Like I want, like as a driver, you want to keep your eye on the road. And I know they have like self-driving and lane assist so that you don't. But as a person who likes to drive cars, I want to look straight ahead.
Right.
See how fast I'm going. They can do the whole little. If they did the whole little, lanes assist thing right here in the screen, then I'd be like, oh great, this is cool.
Right.
But the fact that I go to here, which is taking my eyes off the road like purposely, that's just that's my
I get
preference.
it. It was an adjustment. I'm
Mhm.
used to it now, and it's like second nature. But
Yeah.
it definitely needs a HUD. There is no doubt about it. That's the one thing because I had the Mercedes GLE 450,
Hmm.
and it had the HUD display and everything, and I love that. I
Yeah.
love HUD displays. I don't give a damn about your dash. Like I need to
No.
see it where my vision is going. Right.
Exactly.
So that was definitely disappointing. Hopefully they added them at some point because they just did the remodel of the Model 3 and now it actually has air conditioned seats, lighting, and I don't know all the features, but
Hmm.
hopefully we get something like that. But will I buy a Tesla again? Possibly. I think I'm going to check out the Maserati redesign because I kind of want to go back to an SUV since the kids and have a little bit more space.
Yeah.
And I think that's my next move. That, or I'm kind of leaning towards the Land Rover Defender. I kind of just like it.
Mm.
Not an off road person, but
Yeah.
it does look bad.
Yeah. It does. If my recommendation would probably be the Porsche Macan
Okay. All right. All right.
because you get a little bit of both. It's a
Okay.
like the it's a SUV.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a small
I've looked
SUV.
at one.
But it still has like some nice if you get the sport package and stuff too.
Okay.
Or the Audi like SQ5.
I heard the Audi was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I've never owned an Audi though.
Audis are
Never been on my list until recently.
I like Audis. They're pretty high on my list.
Nice.
Like the next car up that I want from this, it will probably be an Audi.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Which one would you get?
So my buddy has a RS3
Okay.
that he is currently modifying and has like 1,000 horsepower in.
Damn.
Which is crazy. I don't know if I want that. I like the Audi, I would like an Audi S3, but or maybe an S4, like a larger one, like the S4.
Okay.
Um, or like an SQ5, like the trucks.
Okay. Okay.
Because I've seen one that was like lowered.
Okay.
It looked beautiful.
Nice.
And like that Audi gray is like gunmetal gray that they have.
Oh yeah, that gray is beautiful.
It's gorgeous. So I don't know. That's kind of what I've been looking at. Or it's like either that or the Porsche Macan, which technically they're all kind of very similar.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
In terms of the chassis and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because it's all owned by Volkswagen.
Okay.
But you get some different creature comforts with it.
Right. Creature comforts. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
each and how they're and how they're tuned and everything like that is different. So I have a couple questions that I want to ask, and this is kind of coming from our conversation. Is like, what is it that kind of led you to becoming an executive coach? Like, how did you get started with that business?
Well, when I started the coaching, I really focused on life coaching. I did through the Robbins Medanes coaching platform, and went through all the hoops of that, and then business was the next part because I have a national network of realtors that I talk to, and well, the life coaching is very important. Just to be very real, if you ever get a coach, always start with the life coaching so you can get your head straight, so you can get in the game.
Right.
If your head's not straight, you're not playing the game no matter what.
Mm.
And so I led into business, and then I was like, oh, I can go a different level with business. I could take it to executive. So then I just kind of fell into it through the Robbins Medanes as well, and I just dove into it. And it was an extra skill set to bring to the other phases of coaching. And right now, since I launched an additional version of my coaching business, I'm actually hiring other coaches on to do financing, like a finance coach, a marketing coach, a real estate coach. I'm expanding. So I'm taking my skill sets, helping people out, bringing some really cool coaches in we can really take everything to the next level.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool that you like kind of just expanded it from coaching and stuff like that. Because I know people that were going through life coaching programs, and then I didn't see them coaching their own lives, and so I was like, I don't know if I want to listen to you because you're like I see your stories, like you can tell me you're doing it, but
right,
if you're not showing it to me, then
But you hit it on the head, and that's the problem with coaching across the board, no matter what type of coaches. the majority of coaches don't apply what they're teaching to their
Yeah.
own lives. And here's the way I look at that. Say you're giving a gift to somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying, and the packaging is beautiful, there's ribbons and all the fancy things of a gift. And when you give it to them, say if I gave you this gift and I'm one of these people that don't apply it to my own life, you open up, it's an empty gift. Looks fantastic, but there's nothing to give because I haven't fixed my own stuff.
Yeah.
So how can I possibly give the gift of helping somebody move on to the next chapter in their book of life when it's empty?
Yeah. Now that makes sense. And like, I know not everyone is perfect or anything like that.
Right, of course.
And people are going through their own things, but like, you know, like one thing that I've noticed in just about social media in general is that people are always watching.
Always.
Now they may not say nothing, they may not interact, they may not like, they may not comment.
Right.
They may not even share, but they're watching.
Oh, tons of creepers out
there. And so you have to kind of be like conscious of what it is that you're putting out in the universe just in general.
Yeah.
Because people are watching. And so that's kind of where I was like, I would see it and then, interact or say stuff, but like, it's, like how are you saying, oh yeah, I'm a certified life coach and I can do this. And then you're out here, asking for donations because something happened. Like, I don't, just handle your business first.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Before teaching someone else their business. That's kind of how my opinion on it.
No, I'm with you. I run into. There you go. There's a nice sports car. What was it?
Aston McLaren.
Nice. Yeah,
720.
So for the coaching aspect, I see this a lot with real estate coaches, right? Because there's no official training to get certified in real estate coaching.
Yeah.
A lot of them, what happens is they went out, did a decent amount of business, then thought they can apply their skill set to someone else, and that's it. There is nothing else. And some of these people I've run into with real estate coaching in specific have never even sold houses. But I'm going to teach you how to sell a house, and I've never sold a house.
Right.
And I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that might watch this that disagree with me, and that's fine. That's the benefit of having a conversation.
Yep.
But in my strict opinion, it doesn't make sense. Like, I can't. That would be like me trying to. If I'd never cut grass, trying to teach you how to cut grass.
Right. If you don't know how to, which way the blade goes, this.
Right. Like, there's settings on a lawnmower as simplistic as the machine it is. You can cut it lower, higher, and this one guy was telling me that you should cut like one path higher, one lower, and it does something to the grass. I don't know because I have never studied that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not going to teach about lawnmowers. But that's my point, is that for anybody that's aspiring to be the coach, there's tons of platforms out there where you can learn and educate yourself, but find something that resonates with you. Don't just coach for the sake of making money. Majority of coaches don't even make money.
Yeah.
Right. And if you last in the business just a couple years, chances are you're working for somebody else. You're not even really doing your own thing and following your passion anyway. So figure out your own stuff, apply it, see if it works, and then take a working product to the market.
Yeah. No.
Just my 2 cents.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And, I agree with it because, like, in my role of what I do, I'm not licensed currently. But where we take the information that is shared from like all the coaches and stuff and try to help people apply it.
Right.
And when I first was in this role, I was like, why would anybody listen to me?
Yeah.
And so what I started doing to kind of get myself, I haven't sold anything yet, but like, let me go out onto an open house. Let me see what that's like. Yep. Let me go to a tour. Let me go sit in on a listing presentation.
You went in the trenches to learn.
Right.
Yep.
Like, let me at least sit in with someone and like kind of get a better idea to understand the psychology of it, so that I can tell you like, oh, I saw this, or you should try this way. Like, yes, we have all these coaching things, but if I don't know anything about it, right, then I can't recommend it to you because I'm just, I'm reading words off a script, and you're going to tell that I'm reading words off a script.
100%.
And you're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll try it. And I might sit down with you and try it for a second, but then it doesn't stick.
Yep.
And so I try to start like the way I dressed or the way I carry myself to be more like the agents that I'm working with,
Mm-hmm.
just to establish that trust, so that they can feel like what I'm saying actually makes sense, and I'm not just spitballing
Right.
whatever.
You're not shooting from the hip.
Yeah, and so I I've been able to see some success from that. I've been with the company. It's been over 5.5 years now. Maybe 6 years in January or February.
Nice.
Um, and I've been able to network and meet people and stuff like that because I know what I'm talking about because I've tried to go out and actually do it.
Yep.
Like this, you know, I'm one that preaches like the use of a CRM.
Oh, hands down. If you don't have a CRM and a realtor, you're
Yeah.
setting yourself up for failure.
And but what I did with that, instead of just having it for real estate, I got a CRM for my friends.
Nice.
Like I try to keep track of when's the last time I spoke to them,
That's good.
or when's the like I write notes about people and stuff like that, just so I can remember.
Yeah.
It comes up to birthdays, like I'll send somebody a text happy birthday versus like a social media post or something like that.
Yep.
Just because I want it to be more direct and personal to them. But like I've been able to cultivate relationships just because of that. Because like I'm applying these same principles to
Yes.
to this. Now, if I was to go into business and start selling or whatever, it doesn't feel as foreign to say, oh, I got a CRM and I got I'm just applying it, and it also doesn't come off as inauthentic of me reaching out to people.
Right.
Because I reach out to people all the time, just be like, hey, I thought about you real quick. How's it going?
Right.
Do I want anything? No. Am I selling anything? No. Do I want you to buy anything? No.
Just saying what's up.
If you want to check out my YouTube channel, what drives you, great.
Yeah.
But I don't push it or anything like that because I generally like just when I think about someone like, oh, how's it going? How's your life going? Like, because I'm just really curious. And that's also how I knew like people were still watching.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to back for homecoming one year, and it's like, oh yeah, like how's the kids? And I'm like, I haven't spoken to you since I left college. Like, how you know this? But people are watching, and so just trying to present myself in a light that is as positive as possible. Do I have moments of lows and all that kind of stuff? Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Could I share those? Sure, but do I want my business out there? No. I'm not one of those. I grew up before the social media era, so I don't need that validation of someone to agree with my struggle.
Right.
You're not gonna get a story time on TikTok about all the stuff that I'm going through.
We're cut from a different cloth.
Yeah. But I still like. I'm still a real person. I still will acknowledge people. I still like to have conversations, and I just try to make sure that everyone feels good especially when they're around me or just kind of interacting with me. And so that kind of leads me into my last question that I like to ask everyone.
Sure.
What is it that you want to be remembered for?
Oh, you got me off on that one. Damn. No, I think really to be remembered for is that I was willing to help people. And I'm not saying it generically, like truly help someone, like, and the coaching really has given that to me. It's watching someone that could barely get out of bed to fully functional out there in public. And I don't ask for, other than them paying me for my services, I don't ask anything. That was them. Right? That was that guide. And I'm a big nerd, as you know, like Star Wars. Yep. It's that Obi-Wan role, right? You're the sage, and I would like to remember that. Hey, he lived that one hell of a life, but he also gave back.
Right.
And that for me would be everything, hands down.
Okay. No, that's now that you say it, I can see the Obi-Wan figure. Like he's the coach. Like right. he had a great life while he was out gallivanting the galaxy.
Right.
But he's most famously known for is coaching.
Yep.
He raised them. He raised Luke, from the sidelines and coached him up. So that's really I can see why you want to be remembered for that, especially as how much we've talked about Star Wars. So
Dude,
yeah.
yeah, it's my personality is more Anakin. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
um, really, it's to help people because again, I never knew that was a thing growing up. So it's important
Mm-hmm.
to me to give back and help the next generation move on because previous generations, and I'm not saying everybody, but previous generations like to hold that stuff back and not help progress.
Right.
I want to give everything I possibly can so people can keep progressing and moving forward, not backwards.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes a lot of sense. Well, um, Liam, that's all the questions that I have
Sweet.
for the interview. Thank you so much for participating. Gonna grab some more coffee from my favorite coffee spot, Burn Berry. Uh, I'm I'm not paid by these people. This is very much a free ad. So if they ever want to give me some free coffee, I'll gladly accept it because I come here very frequently. It's been one of the best coffee spots that I've found in Charlotte.
Nice.
Um, I like going to local coffee shops
Yeah,
versus the big box ones,
I agree.
just because it just feels a little bit more love in the coffee.
It does.
Yeah.
When I travel around the nation, I always make it a point to stop at small coffee shops just to see the uniqueness,
Mm.
see what they do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like its own culture.
No, it is.
So I like it.
Well, thank you, Liam, for joining us here for What Drives You, and looking forward to all your success and seeing how the coaching business will grow as you're starting to add more people to your business.
No, I appreciate you having me on and having the chat. It's been pretty cool.
Awesome. Well,
All right, I appreciate it.
thank you.
Yep.